What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of upcoming meds for Fallout 4. So to start things off, we actually have another update to the medic battlesuit that is currently a work in progress by Newermind43. This time around, it seems like we're getting the Brotherhood of Steel variant of this battlesuit. This thing actually looks pretty cool. It's been a work in progress for quite a while. If you guys watched my last video, or most of my coverage on this, I kept saying, why is it called the medic battlesuit? It doesn't look like a medic battlesuit. Well, this time it obviously does. There are now a bunch of health-related insignia and logos on the suit, and I'm definitely pleased. I think this thing looks awesome. I'm excited to get it in-game, and I think it's actually going to be pretty applicable to a number of different characters and character builds. So we got another update to the Gallant's gun. This is something that I've also been showing you for a few months at this point, and yet with basically every single update, it just continues to look even better. This mod author also has an image of more or less his roadmap with the gun, all the things he has completed and what's still to come. That's going to be linked down below if you guys do want to check it out. And it looks really good, as you could probably see. So often do we get these kind of modern firearms that just look pristine in Fallout 4. Lately, with some of these new mod releases though, we've definitely been seeing more of a trend towards makeshift or even rusted and damaged pieces of equipment, and I'm definitely a huge supporter of that. It is on full showcase with the Gallant's gun. It has been since the beginning, and this looks really cool. I'd say it looks pretty true to life, and I think it's going to be a great fit in Fallout 4. Then we have another update to the ENCLAVE Advanced Dive Suit. I think when this thing actually comes out, it's going to blow a lot of people away because it looks really cool. It is part of the larger mod We Are the Enclave, obviously bringing the Enclave back into Fallout 4 as well as a bunch of their equipment, such as this dive suit. In addition to looking awesome, they also have a Discord that I will have linked down below if you guys do want to check it out, of course get more real-time updates. And they also did share a T5 reserve parachute. So what this is going to be is something aboard the Enclave jump ship. We obviously just saw the dive suit and you have to kind of get down from the ship. So you're going to use a parachute, and that's going to be this. It looks great, and I could already see how it's going to immerse you as you are walking through the ship, and you see a few things like this that are at this level of detail and quality. Then we get some more updates to all the different mods that are currently a work in progress by Covidanga. He's posted a few of these progress reports in the past, and this one looks pretty awesome. What he shows off here is actually the wood metal finish that is going to be present on a lot of these different guns. If you don't know, more or less, there's going to be a pack of weapons, all from the World War I to World War II era, and I'm really digging a lot of these different finishes that are being brought to the table. I just think it looks cool, and I feel like it's going to really just make you enjoy using these guns so much more because they all look very realistic. None of it is super crazy or out there. But in addition to all those different images, which look awesome, we also actually have a video of the Mauser C96 stock. I'm going to have a full link to the video down below. You can give it a like or even a view for the ad impression. But all around, this mod is coming together very nicely. We have very few weapon packs for Fallout 4, and I think this one's going to really blow a lot of us away. So we get some more updates to the SA-80 that is coming with Wars. Something really interesting about this, the SA-80 is really being introduced into Fallout 4 as the platform that this kind of brings to the table. Probably heard of the L85, L86, and many of the other ones that are out there. Well, this gun in particular is really going to have almost all of those implemented with it. You're going to be able to configure it from an assault rifle to more of almost like a PDW of sorts, even though it technically isn't, and even some of the HMG options. It looks really cool. They're even going as far as actually taking some of the experimental builds of this gun when they were designing it in real life and implementing them into the game. That's why you see some of those images where the bayonet looks like it's on the barrel. It's just really close to the barrel, and that was one of the experimental builds in real life. It's coming together really nicely, and if you don't know, Wars is more or less aiming to actually replace a lot of the boring and otherwise basic ballistic weaponry in Fallout 4 with far more interesting modern alternatives. It's meant to be a kind of major overhaul of the game as it sits. So this I love. If you guys don't know, Todd Howard is the director of Bethesda Game Studios. He makes most of our favorite games. Well, someone is finally honoring him in the right way by actually making a General Howard statue. So it's going to be craftable in game, and it's actually going to be able to glow in the dark, which is an amazing feature that definitely is going to fit right in with this. But not only is it going to be craftable, you're actually going to be able to find a few of these scattered across the Commonwealth that you can just stumble upon. Obviously, this mod is largely made in jest, but I think it's awesome. I'm very excited for this one. I will definitely scatter these all throughout my settlements and not even really use settlement building, but at the same time, this guy effectively gave me a job, so I definitely have a bit to owe to him. So this is one I actually find particularly cool, and what's going to be is the HYDRACLAW. In the past, I've actually showed you kind of modified death claws that are fan-made and mods for Fallout 4, and I think those are awesome. Mods adding in new and custom NPCs in general are pretty few and far between, and even though this one is particularly work in progress, I think it's going to be a great addition to Fallout 4. I can already picture how one of these kind of sneaking up around a corner and scaring you or something like that, and it being quite terrifying. Either way, I will definitely keep you guys posted as further updates are pushed, but certainly one one that looks pretty cool. So we got a 10mm pistol. This is going to be part of the larger mod Fallout 4 New Vegas that I'm sure most of you guys have heard of. If you don't know, aiming to recreate many of the aspects of New Vegas and put them in Fallout 4 as a mod or kind of a new world space. Well, one of those things that has to be recreated is the 10mm SMG. It doesn't exist in Fallout 4. There's 1 or 2 mods that implement this already, and they're good, but they're definitely on like a medium tier. They're not the highest quality. Not that they're bad, but there are higher quality mods out there. So I'm excited to see what happens with this particular 10mm SMG. I think it looks really cool. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to use in game, and it's awesome to see progress being made on the larger Fallout 4 New Vegas because this will probably be released as a standalone mod at some point. So Fallout Miami released a trailer last week, and well, it blew up, that's for sure. I'm using some of the footage from the trailer in this, but I will have a full link to it down below, although I think most of you guys have seen it considering it's approaching 4 million views, which is like absolutely insane. Either way, with all this newfound attention towards Fallout Miami, there's a lot of questions that have been raised, questions that have been answered, but I kind of want to just go over some of them. One of the biggest ones in the title of this video is, will Fallout Miami actually be brought over to Xbox One, and even more specifically PS4? No for PS4 because there's so many restrictions, and probably not for Xbox One, and that's like a very likely probably. See, when actually making mods like this, if you don't plan to port them over right away, it's going to be very difficult to complete the mod and then port it over after. They have stated how they're not planning on doing it right now, so that means that it's probably never going to happen. But I wouldn't be too disappointed because they have, of course, actually released parts of this mod as individual downloads, similar to what Fallout 4 New Vegas has done. Like they are working on an Uzi. You'll probably get that Uzi on Xbox, but the full Fallout Miami experience will probably be exclusive to PC due to the size limitations. At least that's what they've said. Another thing that I noticed a lot of people didn't really know is Fallout Miami is actually structured much more like a DLC than some of these other mods. Like I believe for Fallout 4 New Vegas, you're intended to kind of start a totally new game, and it's more of just a new game built in Fallout 4's engine. Fallout Miami is not like that. It's actually going to be somewhere that you can load into your existing save for Fallout 4 and actually just travel to this new location like you did with Nuka World or Far Harbor. So it shouldn't require you to create a totally new save to experience it. How big is Fallout Miami? Well, according to them themselves, it's actually going to be a little bit larger than Far Harbor. If you're from Miami or just familiar with the area in general, it said it's actually going to be from, and these are like excessively difficult names to pronounce, or at least I'm bad at it, the South Pawnee Pier to the Fontainebleau Hotel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those right. The factions present in Fallout Miami are largely all going to be unique and new for that. So you're not going to see the Institute, the Brotherhood. Within the world space itself, you're going to see the Cubanos, the Dreamers, and some of those other factions. All that's detailed on their website. You can actually read up about what each of those factions actually want and what their deal is. Pretty much all of what I just mentioned is from their frequently asked questions on their Reddit page. I'm going to go out on a whim and say not many of you have actually read that, so I wanted to put it in the video, but I will have it linked down below along with their website, which has a ton of other details about the mod and the trailer. Either way, it's largely going to wrap it up for this video. As always, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. But before we end things off, I actually want to share today's psychology fun fact of the day, and that's really just to know about replication. So often you'll hear about some study that came out in the news, and it's like a big deal. They found something outrageous that maybe goes against the norms of society or just isn't intuitive, so it really makes you think about it. Something to know about a lot of studies, and just to kind of keep in the back of your head, is replication is important and not always successful. So when somebody finds a significant result, they will publish that in a paper. For example, there was a study that claimed exposure to nude magazine centerfolds led men to actually have less love for their wives. The initial study established that correlation and found it to a significant degree, but 3 replication attempts never found it. The reason this kind of occurs in reality is you might have just got lucky or unlucky, depending how you look at it, with that initial group of people. Everything is meant to be on a spectrum and you want to have the biggest sample size possible, but sometimes even that can lead to inaccurate results. Again, I'm not really pointing to a specific study with this one, but just when you see some of these crazy studies, it's important to remember maybe I should wait for somebody to try and recreate this 1 or 2 times and see if they find the same results also. Either way, it's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. I thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.